What are
And
you
we're
doing?
back.
What are selfieing?
I'm taking a selfie with you to promote the website, the podcast.
Yeah, so 36. What's number 36? I got to change that intro. The Israel thing bugs me. I don't want them on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I need to pick a Jewy, maybe like Scarsdale.
I am a visual person, and I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to have images that are Hebey and some that are sort of Goyish. Goyikasham. What's the word? Goyikasham? So we can pick better ones than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I need to redo that. I have the files. I've been lazy. I just need to redo it. I don't want them.
And I don't think that
the Jersey one with the Italian thing, that's good. Like that's
no, it's not. That is not peak Goy. That is heavy Italian, which is technically Goy, but it's just.
What would you go with?
We could do better.
Okay. All right. Let me know what you think.
We'll think of something. I want something more insanely Goy, which I could just follow my, just do some things around the house and, whatever I do. I'm extremely Goy. I mean, I've heard this before.
I know, but
my first.
Yeah. I probably should do I'll think of something. I like the end of it is
my first.
Locations is at the end.
Go ahead.
It doesn't have. I just thought when I made it, this was before all the current stuff was going on, and I figured, okay, we'll do Israel for Heeb, and then I had Oklahoma for Goy, and then I switched it to Jersey, Jersey Shore.
I'm going to help you come up with this because that's my strong point is the visual world. I'm not good like you with numbers and, just basically everything else. So,
let me know. I just need stills, really. I mean, it can be.
Yeah, I'll shoot you some stills of what I mean. Look, my first college roommate was a Jewish guy, and it's my first time ever being because in my neighborhood we didn't have too many Jewish people. So first college roommate, they stick me with David Schumann. I got to get him on the show once. You would love him, David Schumann, right?
Yeah, he sounds like.
And he was extremely. Look, I'll say this: we were both shocked at each other about. I was shocked about how Hebey he was, and he was shocked about how Goyikasham I was. He was shocked. One quick story was he saw me making a he was not exposed to Goys that much at all, the same way I wasn't exposed to Jewish people. So he saw me making a grilled cheese sandwich once, right? First week in college, I'm making a grilled cheese sandwich in our little dorm room. And instead of using butter, I'm putting mayonnaise on the outside of the bread to make a grilled cheese sandwich. See, in the face that you just made, he made a version of that too. And he went on to tell me about how mayonnaise in general is something that is so goyim, and that he's told me that in the Jewish community, they have some sort of a joke about Catholic priests who smear mayonnaise all over their body, and I didn't understand what was going on, but he just told me how mayonnaise was such a goyim thing, and that Jewish people just sort of repel at the very thought of mayonnaise. Is this true? Have you heard this before?
No.
And that's why I picked Heeb. That's why the Heeb and Goy Show logo, I picked the Hellman mayonnaise logo to write Goy. That's why I did that.
No, I mean,
you never heard that about mayonnaise? He couldn't believe it. He's like, "You're putting mayonnaise on the outside of the bread to make grilled cheese?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it works much better." And he was like this. Oh, he thought it was so gross.
So I don't think that was about the mayonnaise per se. I think it was more. Okay, it was about the mayonnaise per se. It's hard to explain. Jews do eat mayonnaise, I assure you.
Yeah, but it's sort of the out of the box use. It's just
correct. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I get that.
The Jew would use butter,
right? Because that's what you use is butter, and they don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I need you to come up with two stills, because right now it's Israel and then it's the Jersey Shore guy. So. It's just real quick.
You're right. We have okay.
And I'm perfectly happy with the Jersey Shore guy personally. But if you want,
I have a problem.
Desperate Housewives picture or something like that, or
I
like
can picture. Look, up here, I see what you're doing. You wanna have like two stills of locations, like a geographical location.
it
That's
doesn't.
why you.
It doesn't have to
No, but
be.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like geographical locations. I like human beings, right? The
yeah.
foods are a great one. Foods, other things, maybe activities. You could just think of like pick a category of each one,
You know
and
what would
then
be
choose.
funny, actually, now that I think about it, is rather than using locations, is if we did something like all I could think of just now was the Steely Dan guy, like who's a major Jew. The what's his name? What the hell's his name? Steely Dan.
I didn't know the
It
Steely
was
Dan
his
guy
name
was
is okay, Donald Fagen. He's a Jew.
okay.
Like
I
and there's
quote
photos,
unquote major Jew.
there's pictures of him singing, and I mean, come on, I'll show you the pictures. Like the
No, okay,
guy
I can see where you're okay.
screams Heeb, right? So I was thinking what we could do is show him like going like he
Well,
does,
I mean that's good.
and
Pick a
then
musician that
and then do the most goy musician you could think of after that. Like I don't know who that would be.
I don't know who that would be, but I'm picturing
Like
right off the bat like
Jewel maybe, or like
Jewel. You're right. Jewel is pretty fucking goy.
it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
goy.
yeah. We'll work on this.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So think about it. So I have some goings on here. I wanted to get your take on and discuss.
All right, Dan.
I'm gonna jump right in. So a couple things going on. So if you look in the background, the very background,
Dan is showing me a photo. I have to paint a picture for people who are listening in their car. Dan is showing me a photo of his sort of compound over there with his big fifth wheel trailer. And he's showing me what appears to be a 30-gallon propane tank that he's got posted outside his spot here. Is that a 30-gallon?
I don't know how many gallons it is.
This guy doesn't know. It's not a 5-gallon. It's not 50.
No,
I'm
it's
guessing
big.
30.
It's like literally, it's as tall almost as I am. Like, or maybe
There might be a 50-gallon. It's 30 to
maybe
50.
It's 30.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in the background, you see, what do you notice? In the very background.
In the very background, I can't see too much. I see there's a yellow in the way background. Maybe there's a yellow tractor of some sort.
Yes, we have broken ground here. The house has begun. So that's very good news. Very good news. So okay. Equipped with 2 propane tanks, small ones, like the type of propane tanks you would have on a grill, right?
Those are 5 gallons. They're
Correct.
about the size of a milk crate.
Right. So one of them is about already kicked, and we haven't gotten into winter yet. Obviously, when we get into winter, we're going to use more of it.
Yeah, you will.
And you know me, I don't want to deal with taking it out and schlepping it and refilling it. I don't want to
Get
do
a big
that.
one. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So I call a propane company and said, hey, I got a 5th wheel. I don't want to keep refilling these cylinders. What do you got? They go, well, we can lease you a big one that'll last you the year, basically. This will last you a whole year.
Absolutely.
And then at the end, we'll take it back.
Right.
And whatever propane you haven't used, we'll credit you, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I'm like, that sounds like a deal. It's going to cost me more than just refilling the canisters. But you know me. Yeah. I avoid any hassle.
Yeah, you'll throw money at the problem to avoid any extra physical labor or, hassle. Yeah, I get it.
So the guy shows up with the tank. Super nice guy, Latin guy. And I'm going to go ahead and put a banner up. So, so hold on.
All right, let me guess. Hi, New Jersey and Miss Pantalones.
Okay,
I should know what Pantalones means.
Okay, so all right, so many moons ago, I used to be fluent in Spanish.
Yeah,
I love Spanish. I love Latin culture. I love Latin America.
I love it so much.
And I used to be fluent. I used to be very, very good. And
so
I can still speak okay. But when you don't use it for so many years, it goes away.
You lose it. It's like flexing a muscle. Yeah, you lose it.
I'm not a native speaker. So what I find now is that I know the cuss words, and I have a couple of funny catchphrases I use when I tell someone that I used to be fluent.
Because
this is one of them.
Because not only do you like to sort of yuck it up and, do some riffing with people, English people, You want to make sure to try to make other people laugh too. Mexican people.
Of course,
Like, you
yes.
got some riffing a trout new material. Always riffing.
So
Okay.
this one did not go well. So
Really?
my standby joke when I'm saying, hey, I used to be fluent in Spanish and now I'm okay. I know the cuss words and just a few things. And so what I'll say is I'll go, "Hay naranjas en mis pantalones," which
And you
means
want to just get a smile out of the guy. You know
yes.
what I mean? Yeah.
So this phrase means there are oranges in my pants. Okay. That's what it means. It's just silly. Right?
But the guy.
So I think this guy wasn't having it. And I think
He thought it was a gay thing.
I think he thought I was coming on to him or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, the wife showed up right then, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just."
I'm going to agree with. Okay, look, I'm like you. I really love trying to make people laugh and just saying little funny things, stuff like this. But oranges in my, and you knew that was the translation. There are oranges in my pants.
Yeah, it's just a silly, and I've used this a bunch, and I always get a laugh.
I don't know,
just
dude.
Silly. It's so silly.
Yeah, but dude, this is just
it's better than saying there's a banana in my pants. There are oranges in my pants is just silly.
All right,
You agree that it's better than there's a banana in my pants?
I mean, you know how you were horrified that I asked the they them question of the coworkers? I'm kind of horrified that you said, Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm Shecky Greenstein. There are oranges in my pants. Like, what are you doing?
No, okay, that's not exactly how it went. So the guy was super nice. We're talking a bunch in English about propane and what we're going to do and what I need and this and that. And then he comes onto the patio of the RV to give me the bill.
Oh, and now you're standing by the door. You're close to.
He hears the dogs barking, and he doesn't like dogs. So he's like, "Oh, I don't want the dogs to come out." I go, "Tres perros." I said, 3 dogs. Tres perros. He goes, "Oh, tres perros." I go, "Y." I go, "You see, hay naranjas en mis pantalones." So I was trying to be funny. Yeah. This is unfortunately my.
So look, this happens. Look, I appreciate you being. Here's the deal. I do things like this. Is why we're alike. I do things like this all the time where I say things and I do things and immediately I go, that was not my best work.
No, yeah.
Like right. I just know immediately that was not my best work.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it. It's not my best work. And the wife comes out. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And
she's
I'm like,
she overheard that.
Luckily, the guy was there. He sees the wife, and I think at that point he realized
he's like, "Okay, he's not a gay dude. He's not trying to get him. This is not some sort of weird." Here I am. I get. Okay, here's the deal. Because this guy in his job has experienced this before in the past. Guarantee you, he's delivering propane to people in trailer parks and RVs. He shows up. There's a weird old white guy standing at the door that says, "Hey, you want to come in and grab a cafe?" You know what I mean? And then tries to put his hand on his fucking thigh. This has happened to this guy before. So he hears some sort of thing like,
"Hey, man, you're making me feel even worse.
There are oranges in my pants." He's like, "Oh, I got another one I got to deal with. Look at this."
I know. Yeah.
And then the wife comes in behind and says, "Oh, what are you doing?" And instantly he feels like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
Oh, thank God there's a woman here.
No, I explained. I used to be fluent, and now I just know shit like this. I was trying to be funny. So he leaves. The wife is like, "What in the fuck are you doing? Why do you always do this?" And I said to her, I go, that normally gets a laugh. I have used it before. It normally gets a laugh.
And then she's like, though, are you a stand-up comedian that's trying the material everywhere you go? Like, can you just give it a rest? But I'm the same fucking way. Dan, I'll even share. Look, yesterday, all right, go on with this story. Then I got another story. You like this.
Anyway, so he packs up his stuff and he leaves, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I know, I'm just trying to be funny." And like, this is kind of a conservative area, so that might have something to do with it too. And like, I mean, again, it's just silliness, but not my best work.
Not my best work.
No.
Yeah, that's a great saying for that. You know what? That was, and you think to yourself in the shower later on, you're like, "Oh, that was not."
Yeah, I was feeling pretty stupid most of the day. I've used it before though. I've used it before.
You're like, you know what? That's worked before. But Dan, I'm so fucking guilty of the same thing. It's interesting you brought up this topic. I'm constantly now. Look, you don't like small talk either, but I do kind of like small talk. Like if I go to the store, and I use it to sort of disarm anyone that is having to deal with me as a customer. This is my big thing because I hate being a customer. I hate being a customer. I hate doing that to someone, right? So whenever I have to deal with like, someone like you said, like a service guy that comes over to the house, or maybe a cashier or something like that, I will try making them laugh to at least, I guess, brighten their day or something. You know what I mean? Like this is what I do, the same fucking thing. So I'm going to share a story yesterday, something that was not my best work. It wasn't as bad as this, but, and you're going to be horrified about how goy this is too. This is two-part of a story. I just thought of it. It'll take 2 seconds. So I'm getting ready to go camping soon. I'm getting ready to go to Wasteland Weekend, as you know, and I'm going in my little car, which means I can't bring a lot of shit. And because I'm an ultra planner, I'm like, okay, if that means I can't bring a lot of shit, I can't bring a big cooler, I can't bring a lot of refrigerated things, I can't bring my refrigerated mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard. And if I can't bring my refrigerated mayonnaise and mustard because there's not enough room in the cooler, how can you do this? And there's a brilliant way to do it. When you go to the gas station, there's these little like mayonnaise packets and like ketchup packets, the single serve. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course, yeah, of course.
So like, and if you get enough of those and bring those camping, you don't have to worry about having a little thing of mayonnaise.
Yeah, they don't have to be refrigerated. Yeah.
It's brilliant. And so this is very goy. So I go yesterday into these different gas stations to try to like steal as many of these as like.
Oh my God. My grandmother used to do this shit.
This is what I do. I got a drawer of them. I kid you not. So I go, and my whole thing is I'm going to hit there's a gas station called the QT, which is like notorious for having a bunch of these things out. And I've done things where I bought a hot dog before and I just fill my pants with them. And I've got different methods of obtaining as many of these as possible. Yesterday, I tried a different technique where I go in, and it's the honesty policy. I decide, this is like me coming up with these dumb ideas, like the same way I ask that the guy whether he's they, them, So like, someone's coming in. Hey, Kara.
Yeah, the dogs are going ape shit, and they knocked over the fire extinguisher. Well,
you want them to let them go out, or something? Do they need to go out?
No, there's no room. It's an RV. It is what it is. Go ahead. Keep
going.
So
all right. So I decided my great, I'm like, I'm going to go, and this time I'm going to just straight up ask the employee if I can take a bunch of them, if I can pay for, I'm going to ask straight up.
Employee's going to be like, I don't give a fuck.
So I didn't know this, right? So I go right in, and I just look at the woman who's like, of course, like she's like 25. I'm like, hey, listen, you know those packets of man? Yeah, she's like, yeah, I know the packets. And I go, I'm getting ready to go camping, and I want to get like a bunch of them. So can I put a bunch in like a hot dog little container, and you could charge me for the hot dog? I mean, I don't want to steal them if you. And she's like you. She goes, just take as many of them as you want, right? And I'm like, oh, that's fucking really? She's like, yeah, take as many as you want, right? So I'm like, that went great. And now I'm getting as many as I want over there. I'm putting a bunch in a bag, like a lot. I'm really being a hazard, Dan. And now I'm just filling this big bag of it. I don't have to pay a dime. She said, you don't have to. So I'm like, okay. So then she's standing right next to me as I'm doing this. And you know what I said? This was not my best work, Dan. I just go, you're a real one for that,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I swear to God. And I was just like, what did I just? Christ. And she like looked at me like.
So here's a 60-year-old white guy in a bucket hat trying to like act like you're some young guy from the 90s white rapper.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh. So
Vanilla Ice over here.
Yeah, I mean, and then it was not my best work because it got zero reaction. She looked at me like, oh, this guy's annoying. And instantly I just knew like, that was not my best work. So that you
knew it wasn't your best work, and you knew that shoot had deployed.
Oh yeah, the minute that it comes out of your mouth and you see just like when you did the orange in my pants line, and you see that horror look on the guy's face.
Yeah,
it's instant. When it's not your best work. It's not something that comes up later. No. So me and you were like Shecky Goldstein and riffing and doing all these things up on stage during the open mic, seeing what sticks and what doesn't. That was one that I just knew it, and so I can relate to the oranges in my pants story because yesterday it wasn't my best work.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That actually might be worse. Like just because of the context.
Yeah, it was worse. It was worse than oranges in my pants.
Oh, you should have just taken them and left.
I know.
Just,
I was on top. I was on top.
I can't believe you thought the employee would give a shit.
She was actually nice. Like I could tell, like before I said that line and made things worse. Like she looked at me and was just kind of like, "Oh, that's nice that you're asking and not trying to just fill your pockets with them." You know what I mean? Like she was like, "Just, sir, it's cool. Like just take as many as you want." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." And then I had to try to fucking riff and make things worse. But at least Dan, the guy didn't think I was like some sort of gay trying to invite, me into the trailer and
for
like
about 45 seconds. I think he thought I was trying to get a soil sample. I do. Yeah.
So let me to get back to your propane story. When that guy that you put up the picture of the propane tank, they said that tank was going to last the winter.
So, well, I told them it's only used for cooking right now, and then once winter comes, we'll use it for heat. There's electric heat. We have electric heat and gas heat. We have both. So I would only
where's the electric coming from? You tied into an electric line from the city?
Yeah, I'm plugged into shore power.
All right, it's not like a solar situation out here.
No,
why are you horrified at solar?
Because Bruce, I have two 15,000 BTU ACs on this thing. Like,
oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Here.
So let me ask you this: in Florida, that's true. So when you're going to go ahead and use the electric heat, just the same way you use the electric AC, like just fuck it, just pump it, right? You're plugged in.
I mean, yeah. So the way it works is, I'm going to get you a picture. So
oh boy,
I mean,
we no, you're right. I forgot you were plugged into the electric and the county electric, and you got AC going, and you're using a lot of electric in this place, I would imagine. You're probably whatever.
Oh yeah, I got you. So this is not my unit. Hold on, I'm going to show you.
This is boring for the radio audience. You pulling
this
up.
This is very
pictures.
boring, but you. Okay. So I am showing a picture of, this is not my exact one, but this is the same unit.
Yeah. Okay? So there's AC that needs to be happening.
There are two units. You can't see them from this
They're on
picture,
the ceiling.
They're on the ceiling.
Yeah.
On the other side of this camper, there is a plug. It is a big 50 amp cord that you plug from the camper into what's called shore power.
Right.
It's just a receptacle. It's a 50 amp receptacle. So if you go to a trailer, like to a...
It's enough. It's a lot.
If you go to a campground, they have these plugs. You plug your camper in, and you can stay there as long, however long, right? So the 50 amp plug powers the camper. So that powers the air conditioner, the water heater, the receptacle.
But I get it. And now, but from electric, using electric for heat, I mean, you don't care. You have money, but boy, that runs the bill up because it's just like glowing red. You know what I mean? It's that electric heat.
So yes, but this is Florida. So
yeah, it doesn't get. That's my next question. In the dead of winter, I mean, is the heat running 24/7, or is it warm in the day?
No, more at night. And so this particular camper that I have has both electric and gas heat. Now, I would rather use the renewable one, which is electrical. You know, but once you get really cold, gas is going to be better. It's going to work better. It's going to be more efficient.
For sure.
So that's why I have this tank. Now, they will come out once every other month anyway, just to check it, right? That's part of the service. They come out.
So the same Mexican guy is going to come back, and you're going to be standing there.
I will make sure to be far away from.
And he's just going to roll up and be like, "Hola, señor." And you go, "Hola, señor. Naranjas in pantalones." And you're going to be like, "Oh, jeez, this is the fucking orange guy."
I will be avoiding.
He's telling his friends at work. He's like, "I got to go back to the orange."
Yeah,
guy.
This guy pretty much. I think he wants me. No, no. So. Right. So this tank that you're looking at I won't be here a year. I will be here for another 9 months, roughly. So this should last about that. It should. We're pretty close. So
here's why. I was going to say I doubt it highly. If that's a 30 gallon,
they come back anyway to check it.
But here's the deal.
Right.
Wow. They send out a guy to check it. Like you can't even check it. Like what kind of camper? It doesn't know.
No, it's a service. He come out, and if it needs to be topped off, they top it off.
As a goy, I would be embarrassed about not knowing how much propane is in my tank by just going out there and going, yeah, it needs a little more.
Oh no, the cylinders I know, but that thing, the big one,
you could tilt it. You could know. I mean,
no, but they come out, they measure it, and they say to you,
I got to go out to the orange guy just to check it.
I will be avoiding them now. Sure.
I can't go back to that gas station ever again.
No, you cannot.
They're going to be like, oh, here's the 6. By the way, I'm 60 now. Thanks. That's great.
I rounded up a bit.
Because of the hat. Did you round it up because of the hat?
Rounded up because of the hat.
Is doing it. Yeah.
So no, it's all good here. Generally, we've broken ground. The house is
good for you. Good for you.
Fill dirt is coming in.
The ball is rolling. I know it's got to feel good to physically see a truck digging in the dirt at, big yellow, because things are happening. Things have been clapped along enough to where they're digging some action, some visible.
Yeah, we had a meeting on Friday, kind of the last meeting where we talked about.
I want to talk about that after you get off the air.
The selection sheet. Maybe we can talk about it. The selection sheet. It's all done. Everybody's good. Simpatico. We have figured it all out. It's all listed. It's all written down.
Everything's good. All parties involved are aboard. Everything's moving.
The chute has deployed. Everyone knows that. And
I taught Dan a new phrase over the weekend. You're hearing that buzzing again. That's the air conditioning going off and on. So the chute has deployed is a great saying. Like, if you want to try to talk to someone who's like upset about something and can we do this? Can we do this? You just want to tell them, no, we're doing this now. Is like that chute has deployed. It's one of my favorite sayings. Because if you're jumping out of an airplane and the chute is deployed, there's no turning back. I mean, it's the ultimate. There's no turning back. Yeah, but can't we do this? No, I'm falling out of an airplane and I just pulled the parachute. You're not stuffing the parachute back in the bag if I'm falling out of it's the best. It's the best.
No, so we're good. Like, we got at this point, like, our work is just about done. We've picked everything out. So the way this works, for those of you who don't know, when you build a house, you hire a builder. The builder figures out how much the house is going to cost, and then he divides it up into draws.
Are you sure you want to go down this road?
What do you mean?
This topic.
Why?
Reasons.
Yeah. Why?
All right, go for it.
No, there's draws. So let's keep it easy math. Let's say it's going to cost you $100 to build the house, right? What he'll do is he'll say, okay, when we get the permit, you got to give me $25. When we get the roof inspection, you got to give me another $25. When we pass preliminary electrical, you got to give me another $25. So it's like it basically, each time you pass certain milestones. So we just got the permit, so I have to wire some more money, and so basically at this point I will have paid him over half of what the job will cost, but I won't have to pay him anything else for a while, until we start getting inspections. But this part's going to move quick. You're talking foundation, framing, roof. That stuff will go quick. It's the stuff at the end that takes forever.
Are you going to go out there like during the framing? So the crew's going to come. They're going to build. They're going to do the 2x4s, and then they leave for the day. When they leave for the day, I mean, this was something that I would do. This is terrible. I'm going out there with like a fucking square edge.
No, are you out of your mind? You're kidding.
No, not out of my mind. I would absolutely go and look at their work.
Oh my God, no.
Is that a Goy thing?
Well, first of all, they're the professionals. You're not a professional. They're the professionals.
Yeah, but I know a right angle when I see one.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
and when a 2x4 is not screwed properly into the next 2x4 and there's a gap.
I know, but that's the job of the builder. Like, I don't know. I would never do something like that.
That's for me and you are different in many ways, and that is one of them. I'm keeping an eye.
I'm not fucking with these guys, man. They're the professionals.
When the guy was doing the roof, and I knew, like, okay, the roofing guys, like, you don't want to be that guy, but I'm sorry. I hate being that guy, but it's that kind of loot. I'm that guy all day long. I'm going to fucking
You weren't paying a dime for that roof.
Don't care. So what else you got for me?
So just a programming note. We have a programming note. Heeb Goy programming note. So in the near future.
Oh, right.
In the near future, little background. Bruce and I met each other because we were both big Howard Stern fans, and we found each other. I forget where, online, Facebook, somewhere.
Dan and I long ago found each other. He's my soulmate.
It's
and
probably
I found
going back to like 2009.
Bro,
Like
I met you. I met Dan. I met Dan over Facebook. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was early Facebook, and there was like an early Howard Stern group. It was either an early Howard Stern group or a Child Free by Choice group. One, I can't remember.
No,
I think it was a Howard
Stern. Yeah, it was Stern.
It was like Stern fans, and we like just like how you meet. It's interesting. You meet people over Facebook, and you become really good friends because you just like sort of vibe, and like that's how I met Dan, who has become one of my best friends.
Yeah, and so Christina, who's been on the show before,
right,
is probably, so I was definitely a super fan. Like I would never miss a show. I named one of my apartment buildings after Eric the actor. I even had a sign made for it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was a major super fan.
You were definitely a little bit more. You were definitely status of super fan. I don't know if I was super fan, but I was all about it, and I listened every day for probably a decade. I didn't miss a minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get it when it was on radio, because in Charlotte they actually took it off the air, like they used to do.
Yeah.
And so I didn't. So this was my apartment building sign, CFF, which stands for Club Fucking Footed. Club CFF Apartments by For Now Properties, which is
Bye for now, Eric the Midget.
Bye for now. So this was,
and that's why there are balloons on that logo, because there was memes where you would put balloons on him.
Yeah.
So okay. So Dan's all about. Go ahead.
Yeah. You and I met that way, and Christina and I met that way too. Same way, right? And she became a good friend also. And so I stopped listening probably around 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. And Christina kept listening purely out of morbid curiosity, because what Howard has done, I think, is unmatched in all of arts and entertainment, in that he went over the span of about 10 years. He went from a cultural icon to this figure that I absolutely can't stand, and his show too. The show became shitty. He became shitty. And I can't think of anything else in my life where, as an adult, over a 10-year period, I went from loving something to hating something. I can't think of anything like that. So, and you and I talked about this off air, how like there's stuff from our childhood that we used to love that we now hate, but that's different because, you grow up, you change. I'm talking about as an adult.
Yeah.
So I was thinking this would be really interesting, just from an academic point of view, to kind of go through the timeline of what happened, when it happened, how this happened, what were the contributing factors, and where are we now? And I haven't listened at all since like 2018, 2019. So I don't know. She does know. She still listens from time to time. Enough.
She listens now?
On and off. She hate listens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't have that ability. There are YouTube channels that I hate watch. I get it. I'm trying to do it less.
I can't hate listen or hate watch. I can't do it. It makes my blood pressure go crazy.
You don't want to. I mean, it's bad enough. Social media is bad enough.
It's bad for you. She's a very laid back person, so I think she can do it. Whereas like you and me,
I worked myself up into a tizzy. Dan.
Yeah, me too.
So basically, you were going to have a separate podcast or separate show with Christina.
No, just an episode. We're going to do an episode here on the Heeb Goy channel, me and her, and we're basically going to sort of dissect what happened, what the timeline is, how would you even say it? I guess what the incentives were that made him do this, and where we are now. Because the
timeline of our and this is going to be something that maybe you could do. My upcoming vacation, I'm not going to be around for a couple of weeks, so I implore all the listeners to listen in and listen to the Heeb Goy show with with my Goy replacement, Christina.
Substitute Goy. We're just going to do this one episode, but she's an expert. Like I'm pretty well versed in what I think happened between, because really it started, the shit really hit the fan with the show, in my opinion, around 2013. That's when things started to change.
That's
like,
right when I stopped listening.
That is when, without going into detail, that is when there were clear changes to the organization, to the show itself.
Yeah.
And
like you said,
then,
the writers, and it went more Hollywood. Sure.
Yeah, like
more
huge
normal
staff of writers,
Yeah.
no more organic riffing like it used to be, just fake, like pre-written shit that wasn't even funny, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and then I stuck it out for a few years, probably about 5 years. And then I don't remember what it was, but at some point I'm like, okay, I'm out. Like, this is just, I can't do it anymore. And I'm paying for this. Like, fuck that. So,
yeah.
She kept listening. So she knows, like, the stuff, she will occasionally text me and she'll be like, you won't believe what he said today. I mean, dude, this guy has lost his marbles. Like, this isn't just about he's not funny anymore or whatever. Dude, his brain is jelly. The shit that he says.
I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't either, because I don't listen anymore. But she'll give me exact quotes, and I'll be like, he did not say that. Yep, he did. So she's going to have a lot of examples like that. So it should be anyone who was a Stern fan, I think, will find this interesting. And we're going to go into, like, what happened.
You're going to delve into it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a fascinating topic for me, because I just can't think of anything else in any part of my life where 10 years ago I loved it and now I absolutely hate it.
After we had that off the air conversation about it and stuff, and you're telling me you're gonna do this episode, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, because I don't really know too much about it at all. I don't have anything to contribute to it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think just people get old, they lose their touch, they lose their they start to, and I know Hollywood really, and just sort of like, big business and Hollywood and the entertainment industry just fuck a person up, and just as an artist, and then you just lose the magic that you had because of Wild's fame and success and everything else. And it just sort of like, it becomes so corporate and you just get all fucked up. I mean, Howard's this ugly kid, that had to use his sense of humor to not get beaten up. And I can relate to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But now it's just like, okay, he gets Beth, he gets success, he gets the trophy wife, he's got loads and loads of money. So then he starts to look around. He's like, why am I hanging out with like Stuttering John and Jackie the Joke Man? That's not the way they do it on Conan O'Brien. Let's get staff writers and all this. And then he loses the fact that, like, well, that's what made my show magical and funny. Like, it's just the same way if me as an artist, I just decided, hey, people really like paintings of unicorns because that's what people do. And that's what I'm going to start doing because I want to be successful, not realizing that it's not true to your heart anymore. And it becomes, it's a trap for a lot of artists, which is money and fame. And I have it.
Like so much in life, Bruce, when you break it down, what really destroyed it was greed.
Yeah, dude, I'm 100% with you. Greed.
And it's amazing when you take almost anything. Like, it's amazing if you take almost any issue, almost anything, and you take something that's bad, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
American healthcare system. Take anything.
I am with you on this.
If you break it down and you say, okay, what is at its core? What is the problem? At its core, greed. So often.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And I think in his case, it's greed and ego, but they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. When you see any kind of problematic, situation going on in any arena of, modern life, like you said, you cut right down to the core of it. Usually greed, it's just like someone just getting way more than they need. And it's just like, why? It becomes like this sort of like, I'm just going to keep going for the sake of going. Like, how much is too much? Like, what do I need, and just like, no, like he's probably like a mental case at this point. Like, I just need to make more money. Let's do this and make more money and make more money. It's like, why? How? Like, at what point do you just tap out and go, I won. I've won capitalism. I have enough money.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
ever have to do this again.
He could have done that 20 years ago.
I know.
Right?
He could have just been
And,
like right after he signed the Sirius deal and made
yeah.
that kind of scratch.
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
been tapped out. Like,
Yeah.
and he kind of like,
Yeah.
that's when I stopped listening, is when he was like, oh, you know, 3 shows a week, 2 shows a week. And I knew,
Well, yeah,
I knew the end.
that's definitely part of it. See,
That's
for
when I
me,
tapped out. I'm like, okay, this motherfucker is barely working anymore, and he's trying, and he's fucking with me, because he's like, yeah, I still do the show, but it's like 2 times a week and just more reruns than anything, and that pissed me off, and that's when I was tapped out.
Yeah, that for me, and I listened to enough of the old show to know, I still think the show was at its peak in the early Sirius days, from like 06 to 08, when Artie was there, when they were uncensored, fewer commercials. That's when it was at its peak. And I think that, you know, it's not just the vacation, it's the fact that it's all hidden and quiet and hush hush, and they it's like it's not outward. It's just they just disappear for 3 months, right?
And I liked that was the golden thing about the show, is that, you know, and even when you watch Private Parts, there's the scene at the gas station at the Private Parts in the movie, where Howard gets out of the car and he's filling up gas and he's with his wife at the time. And he just says, I just think what I have to do is I got to be real. I got to talk about things that are real and I'll put it all out there. And that was a magical part of that movie, because it was like that little, and it's a dumb movie, you know, but like that fucking scene means a lot to me as an artist too, because that taps into something real. When he says, I got to get real and put it out there and put my real life out there, and just that's what I'm going to do. That is purely magical, and that's what every artist should, you know, strive for. And then when it came down to the parts of the show, and like, you know, that's why you're saying the Artie years were so great. This guy is fucked up, and they're showing it, and then like Jackie the Joke Man making fun of the jetty. All this stuff is gold because it's real stuff. Yeah. And then, like you said, like, they're going on vacations and people are calling up being like, hey, Howard, what are you doing going on this vacation? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And it's like, I don't like that. You know, I could sense that it was like shifting into a Hollywood Howie. I'm not going to tell the people what's really going on. And it's like, this is
the amazing thing about it to me is that it's one thing to lose your audience and for your audience to be like, okay, I'm tapped out, like you were, right?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't give a fuck and has flat out said, fuck off, I don't care. Fuck off. Like, I hate you. That's basically how he views the audience that built him where he is, that got him the money that he made. He hates
it's kind of like that classic Elon Musk clip where he's on stage and the interviewer asks him, what about your advertisers? And he goes, fuck off, respectfully, fuck off to anyone that wants to advertise. It's like, what? Like, it's like shooting yourself in the
this
foot.
Is worse though, because his entire livelihood, everything that he became was based on the fact that he had this organic show,
right,
where he was trying to appeal to the everyman, to the blue collar, to the plumber, to anybody.
He lost sight. He lost his way. You know what I mean? He lost his way.
And beyond lost his way, he told them all to fuck off. I don't want you. And now, reportedly, he's got no audience anymore. Like, no one listens. He's irrelevant.
So, but like, fill me in. Like, where is he? Is he still getting paid? Did he cut another deal with Sirius? What's he worth?
Oh God. He's still getting paid for sure. I mean, I don't know when the last time he signed. Like, Christina.
Is Sirius even still a thing? That's got to be dead by now. Sirius. Who the fuck?
They merged with XM. Yeah, Sirius XM.
I mean, yeah, but Sirius and XM.
It's in every car, Bruce. That's why. It's in every car, and honestly, I have it in my car because if I want real rock radio, there's no such thing anymore. Like, they have channels.
So I'm way out of it. So Sirius XM as a company is doing well primarily because it's in every car.
If I had to guess, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Sirius XM was pretty much the way of the dinosaurs. Like, because I don't have a new car. I don't know. I didn't know that they're in every new car.
No, I mean, I couldn't tell you how and where their money comes in, but I do know that if you have a car and you want real rock radio, especially metal or whatever, there's no such thing anymore. Like there's no FM stations playing like fucking Led Zeppelin
Dan,
anymore.
who listens to radio anymore? Most people are going to cast from their fucking Spotify
You
list.
can do that. Yes, you can do that. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. I personally kind of like old
well, you do because you're old.
and,
You're old. Listen, you're old like me. But like, what young person is buying a car and tuning into fucking XM? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I can't answer that. All I know is the company's still out there. They're still paying him. They kept renewing him every 5 years. He kept renewing to do fewer shows. Like I think he does 2 a week now, something like that.
And he just wants more and more money, and they keep on paying him millions and millions and millions, and the ratings are tanking, and he just doesn't give a fuck anymore, and he just calls it in.
I don't know if he knows. Like I think, and this will be all in our show. I think that it hit a point where it was like Emperor's New Clothes, where like everyone around him is patting him on the back and telling him how great he is, and oh, you're this, and you're great, and you're the best. And
there's a lot of rich, powerful billionaires that are like that. It happens to them. Nobody wants to tell them no.
Yeah. So it should be an interesting.
Tune in to see Christina.
We're actually doing research. We're gonna have research on this.
Wow.
And
she's great. I'm a fan of hers ever since she's probably responsible for the best Heeb Goy show moment ever is when she told the milks. Yeah, that's my favorite. She told the story about her.
That. Like I can't get
enough of the milk
story. She's
story.
married into this family of weirdos. They're all fucking weird. And the best part is they're all weird, but they think everyone else is weird. Right?
And she just fucking she's like the spirit of the early Howard Stern show to a T, Christina, because she talks about this shit. This is her family.
Yeah, and they're never gonna listen though.
I know, but do you ever, when you do the podcast, do you ever like sometimes I know that we don't have a lot of listeners, but sometimes I'll like I hope when I was talking about that job that I had, I'm like, I hope this guy doesn't listen to it because I'm talking shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the beauty of this being a vanity project where you and I just shit talk for an hour and that's it. If we ever get any decent sized audience, we'll have to think about that. But I mean, I don't care. I'm at a point in my life where it's like, there's nothing I'm going to say that, I mean,
I want to talk about the pizza story. I think it's funny.
The pizza story. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let me cue this up. So the last episode that we had, Dan and I are talking, and like I told a story about how I wanted a cheat day since I'm on a diet, and I wanted a cheat day and I really wanted some dough. And I started talking about pizza, and I started talking about how I just love pizza and big pizza and blah, blah, blah. And Dan's looking at me and I said something at the point. This is where I realized was the crux of the whole what events took place. Is I said, yeah, they got a big pizza, but it's like $35. I don't want to fucking pay it. And Dan, at that point, I realized he probably looked at me with a state like this guy's a homeless guy. Like this guy has no money for a $35 pizza, which is not the case, So, but anyway, Dan is a really, really nice guy. And so I was talking about the pizza at the last podcast, and he's putting up another. So we do this podcast on Sundays at 10 in the morning, and I was talking about how I want a pizza really bad, but I'm not going to do it because it's $30, whatever. And I'm super, super cheap. I don't work anymore for my mental health. And Dan's doing well. And Dan is moving all kinds of money around, so he's got some scratch, And so Dan takes sympathy on me. I take a nap after the fucking podcast. I go right to bed. So then Dan decides he's going to surprise me and surprise deliver a pizza to my house and not tell me about it, which is a really, really wonderful gesture, right? But I'm napping and I wake up, my phone is going off. A lot of times I put it on silent because I don't give a fuck. I just put it on silence. I'm taking a rest. If you're dying, if something's happening, look, handle it because I'm taking a fucking nap. That's how it is in the world of Bruce. So the phone, I wake up and the phone's like, it's like, what the fuck? And I open it up and I see that still that Dan's like, hey, there's a pizza. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I'm like, what's going on? And I go outside and there's, I got Dan, my house has a perimeter fence.
I know.
and I love it. But it's
so
this
and
type.
there's the picture, and there's the picture. So in the instructions for the delivery, I said leave at gate, right?
Yeah.
So I get the notification that it's been delivered, and
And they
there's the
send
picture.
you that photo because you left
There's
it
the
at the gate,
picture
and
of
it's
the pizza,
on the dirt
and I'm
ground.
like,
It's
oh fuck, it's
so
gonna
the
get
pizza.
eaten.
So the pizza delivery guy, Dan's trying to do a nice thing and surprise me. But what happens is that it's a fully gated, you can't get to the front door. No one's knocking at the door. It's locked up tight like a fucking Waco compound. No one's getting in. So the poor pizza delivery guy is left with a conundrum. He's like, here I am. There's no human being out. I guess I got to just leave the pizza on the dirt driveway with ants and whatever bunnies and critters are going to come around. So he just and the pizza delivery guy, to cover his ass, is like, I better take a picture of this because this is bad all day long. You know what I mean? Like I can't believe I'm going to leave a 30-inch party pizza on the dirt driveway. And so he does that and covers his ass and takes his picture. And like Dan's freaking out because now Dan gets this photo from the pizza place. By the way, the pizza place is in Arizona with me. Dan is ordering and doing all this shit without my knowledge from Florida. He's paying the bill and whatever. And God bless him. But
So
like
let's
I wake up to this panicky situation. And,
looking at the timeline. I'm looking at the timeline. So at 4:38, I'm like, are you there? At 5:08, bro. 5:10, wake up. At 5:13, the pizza's there. And I continually text you, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
when did the pizza arrive?
Oh shit. I'm looking at Eastern time.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm just trying to get
probably out there. It probably arrived a little after 5 o'clock my time, and you did not respond to me until 5:14. So that's not bad. That's
so
not
the pizza hung out there for 15 minutes on the dirt.
15
Okay,
minutes
yeah.
on the dirt. Yeah.
And by the way, I was going to say I was going to guess that time because it's hot. Oh yeah, there I am. Another flattering photo of me. But Dan, I don't even care. I'm so happy that you delivered that pizza because I woke up from a nap and I was like, I guess I better eat some more buttered noodles or whatever. Because not only am I on a diet, I'm having a cheat day once a week where I eat starch, where I eat something made with bread or dough. And thank you. That's lovely. I knew that was coming. And so, the bread of the dough, the pizza comes, and I'm like, oh my, that's so much. When I took, so that's a 30, and I think it's 24.
24. It's 24.
Okay, it's a very, very big pizza.
It's a big pizza. That's a big.
I mean, it barely fits through the fucking threshold of a door. Most doors are about 26. So it's enormous. It's a party pizza. And I told Dan, I love this party pizza that I ordered. Dan did some online detective work, fucking went to Google Maps, tried to figure out what chain that I ordered from. I never told Dan that I ordered from Venezio's. Dan figured out that this has got to be the pizza that Bruce normally gets. It's a party pizza. Dan told me it's a cheese. I know. I told Dan I like cheese pizza. I never order it with pepperoni. I like it plain. All right, I'm a guy who likes plain fucking pizza, and I put after the fact, I put a lot of oregano on top.
That looks so good, man. I can't even tell you, Jill. There's nothing better than a big ass New York.
And you know how great. You know what it is. I love fucking pizza. Not only that, you got to order the big pizza because then what this photo represents is the same sort of logic that I take for my Thanksgiving. Is that motherfucker? I want leftovers, and I want a lot of leftovers. I just don't want to enjoy just the meal. I want to have. So that pizza is so fucking big, and I tell you that I can eat half of it, and that's an enormous amount of pizza. If you were to cut a 24-inch pizza in half and eat half of it, it's so much food, like your stomach hurts. You got to drink Pepto-Bismol immediately afterwards. And then you will poop out a stool the size of a fucking coffee can when you're done. It is just it's a lot of fucking dough and pizza to eat. It binds you up. I don't even give a fuck. It's so good going down. And then not only that, you put all this pizza in you put it in bags, you put it in the freezer, and you freeze the slices, and then you put it in the toaster oven the next day.
Good.
And it's even better in the fucking toaster oven the next day for some reason.
Yeah.
And you have given me the gift of but I just wanted to tell the radio audience this because I called up Dan and I thanked him very much. I'm like, Dan, thank you so much. It's such a nice thing to do. But then I said, And I think I might have a little undiagnosed OCD. I really do. Not anything that would require medication. Not anything that would require medication or anything. But like when Dan goes, "Hey, I don't like if there's a pizza coming.
You need to know hours in advance.
I need to know hours in advance because if a pizza's coming at 5, that means I got to start getting ready for. I got to unlock the gate at 4. I got to stand outside and look outside the window and check outside the window that the pizza guy's not coming every 5 minutes until the guy shows up. And then that means I need to take a nap at noon and set the alarm to 3 because if I need to wake up at 3, I got to get showered and get ready because between 3 and 4, I'm getting ready for the pizza. Like it's this insane fucking, if a pizza's coming at 5, the day is going to start at noon getting ready for the delivery of the pizza. I'm not like a normal person who could just be like, oh, pizza's coming and go on with your day.
Yeah, I told you this on the phone. I kind of figured that that's why I gave you the warning, that first text that said delivery coming at 2 p.m.
So I got to tell the audience, this is the main problem. So Dan, right after the podcast or very close to after the podcast, Dan sends me a screenshot of like the Amazon delivery kind of screenshot, like it's on your way, like the typical something. And he sends me this thing that something's being delivered at a certain time. And I looked at it and I didn't understand it. I didn't ask questions. I figured Dan is
you saw that pre-nap?
Oh yeah. I saw that thing pre-nap.
But it said delivery at 2:00.
Yeah, but it didn't say pizza. And I thought you just said it. I'm like, Dan's confused. Dan is sending me some sort of delivery thing because Dan, as I know from the podcast, is constantly having propane delivered. He's got services. He's got fucking things coming to his house. Dan's got a parade of workers coming to his house and serving him and people that he pays to do things. I figured this is Dan's confused. He sent me like it's a butt dial. I don't know, but I completely dismissed it. I'm like, but if you sent me that thing and said, "Hey, bro, surprise coming," like a little hint, or if it said pizza, I would have been like,
"Yeah,
shit,
yeah."
So there was a breakdown.
That screenshot would have been enough. Guess not. Lesson learned.
But Dan, please don't let that hinder or put the kibosh on any future
free food.
Free food or fun things coming from Dan, because Dan's taken care of me over the years, radio audience. He sent me
I sent you that solar powered charger for Wasteland, right?
You send me that, but you send me more than that. The thing that you send me the most, that I love the most, that I have to riff on a little bit, is like there's like an iPhone port thing that you can put your iPhone in that charges it without plugging it into the bottom. It's like this little doodad that you send me.
It's wireless charger.
Wireless charger.
Rode in like it. That's right.
Dan, wrote in like it at all. Dan, because it's got a little LED light on it that never turns off, and she's like, "That's a waste of electricity." And I'm like, I don't care.
Do you know how much that LED?
The tiniest amount.
A year, maybe.
I love that little iPhone charger because I've got it in my head now that when you put a physical thing into the bottom of the iPhone, that it wears out the friction connection and it gets bad. And I'm sure that's true. The iPhone charger's connector just goes up there and it leans against it. And it's got this cool little light that goes around. And I love it. So thank you, Dan, for sending me that. Now, this is not a one-sided relationship. I take care of Dan too. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm always like, if Dan needs something drawn, I draw it.
Yeah. You're my art guy.
I'm the art guy.
You've drawn many a thing for me.
I've drawn.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've had a company for over 10 years now that does rental properties, and you do all the marketing and artwork.
What about the ASIN mug? That was a fun little.
The ASIN mug. I still have that. That's
the ASIN mug.
I have an ASIN shirt. I have an ASIN shirt.
You know, I mean. So Dan, so I really thank you, Dan, for all that. And
I think pizza. Honestly, Bruce, if you were able to combine you and me into a single person,
you would
have one functional adult, because like I'm really good at things you suck at, and vice versa.
It's so true. We're like a jigsaw puzzle where there's two pieces missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The things that I am so lacking in some areas. And that Ro often will let me know. She's like, it's a good thing you have me, because I don't know how you would function in the outside world. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. Ro knows this. My sister knows this. My mom, before she passed, knows this. Like, I'm not going to use the R word as a mentally, but like I am very close. Like I am fucking, I cannot function in a lot of, like, I'm really
Yeah, certain
skilled and
things you
talented.
basically are. You might as well
Be the R word. Yeah,
hello, my name's Bruce. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But
Then there's certain things that you, Dan,
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and you do very well financially for yourself and have crafted. But there's, I know things about Dan, like when he goes out and he deals with people,
awful.
that it's like, wow. I mean, today we both use examples of not my best work. But
nothing is. I don't have best work with.
But normally I'm really fucking good at that. I'm good at dealing with people and strangers and whatever, and I've made it this far in life on that alone with no substance at all, you know.
Yeah.
But
and those skills are critical. I wish I had them.
But Dan, the pizza, and you know what? There's still frozen pizza. You know what's funny? So that happened last week. I had my cheat day. I ate an enormous amount of pizza. Ever since then, I've been going to the gym and losing weight. I'm back. I'm down. I'm in the 150s now, bro. I started this. I was 178. I was really, when that photo was taken, that's like 178, the bad photo of me, you know. And so, yeah, that dude is like 178 pounds. I'm no longer the dude on the left who's like that guy on the left is 30 years old. And this guy right here is, I'm like 160. Now, look, I got a lot of weight under my chin, whatever. That's because that's what happens when you get old. There's nothing that can be done about that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your chest and your like, look at the arm, look at the guns,
yeah, you look
dude.
good, man. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been going to the fucking gym like crazy every day this week. And I decided, did I tell you the story about how my car got repaired and I had to walk to the car? I had to walk.
I didn't want to talk about it. It's just
so that's insane. But what I did learn because that was a 7-mile walk in the Arizona heat at night. It was like 100 degrees.
Right. Rather than getting a fucking
getting an Uber, I walked 7 miles. But I came home. But then I figured it's part of exercise. You know what I mean? I'll just exercise.
Yeah.
So because I usually do like, you know, the elliptical machine or the fucking, why am I going to the gym to walk on this thing when I could just walk in real life, you know?
Yeah.
So I walked in real life and I sweat buckets when I did it. And I got home and my legs were jelly, which is a good feeling that you want after the gym. And then I got on this, after walking, I got on the fucking scale and it said 158 pounds. And I was like, I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, I bet the walk had something to do with me now weighing 158
Well, yeah, because you probably lost a lot of water.
Oh my God, I was drenched, bro.
Yeah.
And which doesn't happen at the gym when you're sitting at the ass or sitting on your ass in the air conditioning, just lightly pedaling. Like that doesn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I brought it. So now in my great wisdom, I've decided now the gym, Dan, the gym that I go to is 1.8 miles away from here. And so round trip, that's what? Almost 3 miles round trip.
3.6.
There you go.
You said 1.8 or 1.2?
It's 1.8 one way.
3.6, almost
so
4.
Okay, so a 3.6 mile round trip walk. I decided in my great wisdom 2 days ago, when I go to the gym, I'm not going to get in my car and drive there. I'm going to walk to the gym and walk back. And I'm going to do it at night. Of course, it's Arizona and it's at night. It's 95 degrees out at night, really, really hot. And so I walk there, and by the time I get to the gym, I'm already, and when you normally go to the gym, you do like a warm up and a warm down. That's basically the same thing. So I figure, okay, I'll walk to the gym and I won't do the exercise bike or the elliptical. I'll just go straight into the weight training, right? Straight into the free weights. I'll be there less time, be there for an hour, be less annoyed at fucking these dudes wearing their grunt style t-shirts and get the hell out of there, right? So that's what I did. I walked there, worked on the weights for an hour and walked back. Sure enough, the next day, 157, 157.8. I haven't seen 157.8 in well over a decade. So, I mean, I'm losing weight, and that's great because, like you know, I'm planning on going shirtless at Wasteland, which is kind of gross for, you know, a dude in his late 50s to be doing. But there's no body type in cosplay, like they say. And but I have standard. I don't want to be the grossest dude out there.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
So and I'm feeling good. I'm looking good, bro. I'm ready to go. And for one more thing I want to talk about before we go. I know we're hit our hour. So I get ready for Wasteland every year, and there's always this crunch. I always delay, and I always like have the costuming to do and packing, and I try to do last minute outfits and things like this. It's a lot of artistic stuff. And for this year, Ro has decided to take this 3-week vacation right before I leave for Wasteland. There's literally one day sandwiched where she comes back, I tag team, and I leave because someone's got to be here with Otis, the dog.
Of course, yeah.
Right. So I've got this opportunity now where I'm in the house for 3 weeks right before Wasteland where I can take over the whole fucking house. And it's like a mental state too. If she's not here, I don't have to like entertain her or worry about the relationship or whatever. It's like very, very selfish. I can just take over the whole fucking house, turn up the AC, every light is on, and I have got my projects spread over the entire house, dude. If I were to tell, like, the whole living room is filled up. It is a mess, like a bomb went off in here. There's like super glue and fucking hot glue guns, and there's all kinds of shit. And I have been crafting and doing things every day from sun up to sundown. I don't work anymore. All I do is get ready for Wasteland and go to the gym and take naps and eat frozen pizza. And man, it's been fucking awesome. Like, how awesome. So I just want to say, like, in the future, you tag team vacations with your better half. I don't know if you've ever done it. Have you ever done it where Mara takes a vacation? It's the best, right?
Yeah, and usually they're not that close to each other, but yeah, I mean, we do solo vacations. Yeah.
And do you do it because, like, someone's got to watch the dogs?
Yeah, it's hard for us with the pigs and everything to get away.
The pigs, the dogs.
It's a whole shtick. If we want to leave together somewhere, it's a whole thing.
I know. So it's better to just not do that. And by the way, it's a very convenient excuse to get out of doing things together as a couple. Like if some distant relative is like, hey, can you guys show up to the wedding? You're like, yeah, I'd really like to, but I don't know, the dog is 13 now. I got the pigs.
Yeah, everybody knows that I have a lot of animals, and everybody knows it's hard for me to travel. So yeah, I use that.
Good. It's a great way to get out of things.
Yeah. Well, I don't honestly, man, I don't do obligation anymore in my life. If it's not something I want to do, I don't do it, and I don't make apologies.
Yeah. You know what's great about this stage in life is to learn that the word no is a complete sentence. I just like that is right. You used it recently. You're just like, no.
No, I just, beyond that, I just feel like obligation a lot of times is in your head. It's in your head. And
it is. It's these social norms where you feel like I have to do it because that's what people do.
I only things I got to do is die and pay taxes. So
fucking yeah.
I mean, and you really only just one of those. So
I got to pay taxes.
Yeah, right.
Hey, my Filipino better half.
I know. She's got it figured out.
She's got it figured out. I don't know. I don't physically do it, but I got a deal going with her.
I know you do.
The deal is that she keeps every single dollar I earn in rewards on my credit card, which in the past has added up to quite a bit when I was using it for business. But also, I will let you know, Dan, that she takes out multiple credit cards in my name. Like she's like, oh, there's a new credit card deal. She's always doing some sort of shell game with money. You would love this. Yeah. So if you open up I didn't know this, but apparently like she'll get something in the mail. If you open up this credit card, we give you $500 if you put $2,000 on this credit card and you pay it off within 2 years. Now, I would never do that. It sounds like a lot of hassle. It sounds like something I would never be able to keep track of, whatever. She does this shit like it's fucking nothing. She's like, hey, yeah. Bruce, you're getting, by the way, Bruce, and I don't even know about it. By the way, Bruce, you're getting a new credit card in the mail. I'm like, I am? She's like, yeah, you're getting a new credit card in the mail and you're going to spend $2,000 and then you're going to get $500 and you're going to give me that $500. I'm like, all right, whatever.
No, what's in it for you?
She does my taxes every year. I don't have to ever think about it or do it. Dan, I hate taxes. I hate doing the math or thinking about it. So it's like, it's worth it. I'd pay twice. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I get to live the life.
You're sitting pretty. You got the Asian partner and you got the Jew podcast, buddy. I mean, you're
I
in good
mean,
shape.
nobody really needs goys for the most part are pretty useless. Like,
Well, manual labor. Get you out here, haul some dirt around.
that's true. I was doing a lot of manual. I took, like, in other words, like, okay, the story that you shared in the beginning of the podcast about the propane thing, that is kind of horrifying to me. I sort of like, okay, Dan, I understand that he's if I'm there and you tell me the situation, you're not paying, I don't know how much you pay for the propane or the service and all this shit. It sounds like a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, here's what I'm doing. If I'm there working for Dan, I'm going to get in the little pickup truck that Dan bought. Dan buys me a little pickup truck, right? And I get it, and Dan's like, hey, I'm sick of, Dan tells me I'm sick of the 5-gallon propane. I go, buddy, I got you. And I know there's a line that comes out of the propane, and I know the connector that it has, and I know you need a little condenser thing that goes onto that. I got all that. Then I know that there's another little thing that tells you how much propane is in the tank. It's another attachment. You buy it off of Amazon. It's $20. It's a little needle, lets you know how much propane. I buy that. I know the size of the fittings. I know the white tape that goes on the side.
You could have done all this, being the boy that you are.
And then I go down to the store and I go, hey, man, I need to purchase a 50-gallon tank, and I need you to fill it with propane. Not rent it. I'm going to purchase this motherfucker because you use it elsewhere in your life. They never go bad.
Well, no, in this case, I did it because the same company is going to bury a tank for the house. So they're just going to take it back.
The same company is going to bury the tank for the, okay. All right. I'd go to the company and I'd be like, look, I need a 50-gallon tank. I need you to fill it. Now, a 50-gallon tank, it's heavy, but I could move it in and out. Like if they put it in the back of the truck, I can get it out of the truck, 100%. Right. And then I bring it back to Dan's place and I put it on that little pad and I hook up the thing and I test it out. Done. Then I'm living in a little shack out in the fucking acreage. Dan's like, can you come check the propane? Yeah, come check the propane. I move it around a little bit. I look at it. I smell it, make sure it's not leaking. Dan, I'm your guy.
But you're in Arizona, man. You're not.
I know. I'm no good to you there.
I don't have a henchman. I need a goy. I need a henchman. I do. I just schlepped to one of my rental houses today and do some shit. Like, you would be doing that for me.
Tell me what you did what did you do at the rental house?
Nah, it's one we're about to sell. I just had to put some shit back. I had to put both garage door openers in a drawer and all the keys. Make sure the trash is gonna get rolled out.
Yeah.
So the trash gets emptied. Yeah, nothing hard.
Yeah. Maybe make sure the garage door openers work.
Everything work. We're past inspections. So.
Oh, nice. Well, listen,
hey, man.
That's all I got, and I just look. I don't know what the dates are. I'm going to tell you, but I think I got one more Sunday in me before I'm going to be gone in the desert for 2 weeks solid. So I'm not going to be able to do.
Looking at the calendar. So next Sunday is the 15th. You'll still be here.
Let me look at my calendar here. I wrote it down on a piece of paper over there, but I left it over there. Let me look. Okay. Next Sunday is the 15th. I'll be able to do that show. Then the next 2 Sundays are the 22nd, the 29th. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be able to do those 2 shows. So here's what I think you should do. And I thought about this. I really think Christina is fantastic. And you can do your podcast show on the Howard Stern and what became of it. And then maybe I know, and there's podcasts about the Howard Stern show. It might wind up being a very popular podcast because all the Stern fans are going to listen to it. I know that there are dozens of YouTube channel podcasts about Howard. So you might tap into that world and do 2 of them. Do the one with Christina and then do another one on a different sort of subtopic on Howard. Maybe do whack packers that have died. I don't fucking know. But I think it's a really good thing that you 2 are very passionate about and have the knowledge to talk about it. And can bang out a couple podcasts and maybe sneak in and get us a bunch of listeners. So I come back and maybe there's a bunch of listeners.
Yeah, so maybe what we'll do is we'll do that one, then I'll do one other with the substitute Goy, just a regular episode, towards the end of the month, or towards the end of September,
and then
before you come back. So
I'm looking at October. Okay, October 6th. I can do.
October 6th, we'll be back.
Yeah, and I mean, we thought about like, hey, can you try to do one remote from this? It won't work. I just remember.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
The signal's really bad. A lot of people getting on the tower, and I'm going to be surrounded by hot chicks. So, I'm going to be occupied. And plus, I'm going to be dancing in skimpy outfits. Like there's almost like sort of like some kinky shit going on that I'll be involved with out there. Lots of good stories, some of which will be good for the air, some of which will not be good for the air. And there'll be a lot of photos.
All right. Well, we will look forward to shitting in the bucket and the stories therein.
Yeah, there's going to be some shitting in the bucket stories. There's going to be like walking around happening. I'm going to be involved in the codpiece contest and the swimsuit contest this year as well.
What the hell's a cod piece?
So a codpiece is kind of like remember this 80s 80s music star named Cameo?
Yeah.
He wore a red codpiece on MTV. It's like a baseball cup that you wear exterior right over your junk.
Oh,
it's a cod piece.
All right.
And so like, and in the Mad Max community, cod pieces are usually they're like studded and they're like decorated, and it's like a thing you wear that's fun, and you don't
As
wear
a good
much
Heeb, I do not even own a cod piece.
I've got so many cod pieces, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we will have the final pre-Wasteland episode next weekend, and then
dude.
look out for my Howard Stern thing coming up. And
I love it.
Peace out.